You actually have a representation of your timeline as you were working on this stuff. People are always interested in how an editor organizes their thoughts and the scenes. You want to walk us through how you build a scene like this?
So this is our assembly timeline. So it's pretty simple. It's probably been a little cleaned up from my first pass, because I tend to have a lot more of like this kind of towers where like this might be an alt for, there's a cut under here that works as well, but then I decided to add this piece, and sometimes I'll add it over the top, because if I change my mind, I can just pull that piece out. But sometimes those stacks will be much higher. But these are all dailies, this kind of standard color. Then you've got keys in here, so this is where we're just keying stuff in the Avid, like some of those shots like Bedlam going towards the bus where we put it over a background plate. This stuff here, this kind of burgundy stuff is post-viz or pre-viz, so that's the animation stuff that we still have in. These plugins here are morphs. They tend to do a lot of morphs, so if there's a pacing that I don't like within a shot and I want to close it up and get it tighter. If you took too long a pause, or if an actor's reading something or something and you want it to happen quicker, you can actually do a jump cut in the middle of the shot, and if they're not moving too much, you can just use that fluid morph function in the Avid and close it up. So that's mainly what these are, keys, and sometimes we use the animats to clean up the tracking marks that don't come out with the spectrum mat. So that's basically the only other thing is these yellow ones. It's something that our VFX editors use. It's just like a super that has the shot number in it, because they're constantly having to output the whole sequence for the visual effects department, and so that it has the shot number so they can always see what the shots are that are currently being used and which version. They use these and name them that way, because then they can just output the sequence and have the generator reading the shot names, and it'll show the VFX department the information they need. Everything else is yellow is sound effects. At this stage, this doesn't really have any backgrounds, so the backgrounds would usually be orange, and then purple is the music at the bottom. And these are just temp sound effects that we do in editorial before the sound guys get involved.
Okay, now looking at this one, it's a little more complex.
So this is closer to finishing. The green ones are all visual effects shots, and these will be versions, and generally, whatever our current favorite version is on top. So usually it'll go like, in order, like the top version will be a higher number than the low track. In some cases, we might like version 10 better than version 11, so whatever the favorite is on top. The purple ones are finals, so those are shots that everybody's signed off on. We've seen them projected in 2K, and eventually the goal is to populate our whole timeline with these purple ones, wherever there's the visual effects shots. And then you still see these yellow supers. Like this one, we just still haven't gotten anything on, so there's just the yellow super. And we get rid of those once we get a shot version in, because then they can read the shot name off of the shot version. When it's just daily, the VFX department won't see the information that they need, so we still use these yellow supers. And these burgundy ones are still animations, pre-viz or post-viz animations that are still in the timeline. In this case, I don't see any that are on the top layer, so we've got a visual effects shot in for everything in this case so far, because this is quite late in the process. And the locators, it's the same thing. It's green for visual effects shot that's still in progress, and purple once they're final and approved. And then these tracks are all muted. These are our dialogue tracks and production tracks. They're all muted at this point, because at this point we've had temp mixes for our screenings. So we get the stems back from those, and that's what these are. So these pink ones are dialogue, usually split out into additional dialogue recording is ADR, group dialogue, or our original like character dialogue is the darker one. Yellow again is effects. In this case, we've got it split out into 3 so that we can kind of work with it editorially. This brown orange one is backgrounds, and purple is our music, and those are all stems coming from our temp mixes.
Let's talk a little bit about, obviously there's a lot of work that goes into doing something like this. A little bit about your overall workflow in terms of gear and the other people that you work with.
So in terms of gear, we're all on Media Composer. It's the best thing still for shared storage for all of us to be working. I mean, we had up to 10 people, sometimes 12 people actually working on the same project in the same reels, in and out of the same reels all day long. Very, very busy cutting room. So you know, the Media Composer is the tool that we all use. I mean, it's the only thing that'll really is robust for that kind of process.